Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 21 with the Baltimore Orioles. Before we get started with today's episode, a quick mea culpa. I did not realize until after I stopped recording that last week's episode was only 38 minutes long. I know for some people that might be better, but I know for a lot of others, including myself, the longer episodes work better. Um, what I might try to do in two episodes, because next episode will cover this off season, is I might try to do the full season in one episode. Um, I'll have to see what happens, and that'll probably stop if and when we no longer play for the Orioles, or no longer manage the Orioles, rather. Because if that's the case, I will need more time to make in-season moves. This season so far has been pretty smooth, and we're apparently going to lose a lot of money, which my manager probably won't like, but he can suck it. That's what I have to say about that. Like, I can still change my final salary. That's pretty good. I can just randomly change tickets in the middle of the season. I bet that's a glitch, but I can't prove it. Back to the game. Daniel Cabrera is playing out of his mind, which is fantastic. And it just quadruply reinforces he is not coming back. I will hand him the qualifying offer so fast his head spins. But I'm not going to trade him. He's too good, and I want to win the World Series this year. And I'll honestly take a supplemental draft pick. That'll be just as good as trading him for a package where I'm probably not going to get very much for him. So, yeah. That's what's happening with Daniel Cabrera. Those of you who are big Daniel Cabrera fans, I understand, but we've got almost 9 years of amazing play out of him. I am more than happy with what he's brought to the Baltimore Orioles, and I will wish him nothing but the best when another team pays him like $50 million over 20 years. And I will laugh all the way to the bank that I don't have to do that. Another reason, by the way, now that I look at it, that we run into this issue is that the All-Star game happened in June and not July. But I'm not too fussed about that. Is there anyone that we might need to activate? Ben Owis is going to be coming back soon. I'll think about what to do with him in a minute here. Here we go. Of our current bullpen, I mean, everyone is doing varying degrees of awful. Really, no one has stood out this year as being excellent. And unfortunately, the one role that Ben Owis would most likely fill, which would be Sean Dozier's role, yeah. Part of the issue might be I don't have enough pitchers. Maybe that's what we should do, because maybe pitchers are getting tired. Mike Reese is pitching a little bit too frequently for my tastes. Even if he is used in this particular environment. I would like one more middle reliever now that I think about it. Herrera, I don't know what your issue is this year. You've been a pretty consistently valuable weapon against left-handed pitching, but man, you're not doing yourself any favors this year, my dude. Who of these players is the least useful? It's probably Soto. Is Soto starting? No. Yeah, I would honestly argue Soto is probably the least helpful. Because I need all my other players to fill various spots. I do like Soto quite a bit. Oh, I'd have to expose him to waivers, and I don't want to lose him to waivers. I think McKenzie is the one who has to go. No, but see, he still plays a useful role, too. Maybe. Oh, God, McKenzie's been awful. Like, obviously, 44 at-bats, not a very big sample size, but he's been pretty terrible. I'm gonna send down McKenzie if I can. He's also out of option years. What did I trade for him? Robert Moore. And ironically, we could really use Robert Moore right now. I'm going to actually try to trade McKenzie. I just think that we can have Soto fill that role, and then that opens up a roster spot for another pitcher. So I'm going to look all players, only prospects, please. Because I don't want to have to fill a major league roster spot with a player. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay his entire salary for the rest of the year. Surely that's going to move some people. Nope, nobody wants him. Then look, I'm going to go ahead and waive him. And if he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Because I can't let a bad trade latch me to a millstone, otherwise known as a first baseman who is not playing that well. In particular, if it means hurting my bullpen. Now, the other option is that I just tell my bullpen to suck it up and figure it out. And you know what? There is some attraction to that level of handoffishness. Chris Thomas is having an okay season, but man, so far his experiment is not working out. He's giving up a huge quantity of home runs. But we'll see. You know, it's important for us to remember with him, this is his first time starting since he was in college. And I am willing to have a replacement level starter as long as the other ones are pretty solid. Rocky Bernal also made that dramatic transition, and I think he's going to have a little bit nicer future, but I do acknowledge that they're being bailed out by apparently a defense that's not very good either. I wonder why their FIP is so low. Or so high, rather. Is there a big defensive hole on this team? And if so, who is it? Zone rating is as good a shorthand as any. Senzel's pretty bad. Now the question is, I mean, right now he's just average, and we just have to accept that. I know we don't have an amazing defense, but I'm not going to bench Perdomo, who gives us so much else to make this team successful. He's really here to just kind of stand around third base, but also to get on base at frightening clips so as to make the rest of the offense succeed. Rushman is very problematic, as is Hendrick. I'm actually going to go ahead and swap Kirindongo and Hendrick just as a way to take some pressure off of Hendrick and let him try to recover, because this is easily the worst year of his career. And his power looks like it's starting to go. But Kirindongo is having an exceptionally good season, and I'll be very pleased to see him pick up a bit more of the slack. Hendrick is an interesting decision to make because we do have two team options on him. If he utterly screws the pooch in this offseason, and I think he might, I'm probably going to opt out of his contract and give someone else a shot. We've got there's probably going to be a lot of turnover in the lineup this next season. I'm just going to warn you guys of that in advance. I think that it's highly, highly likely. I'm also going to bump up Senzel. I think he's hit well enough to deserve a bit more playing time. We're talking about replacing, at a minimum, our DH and our second baseman, and quite probably our right fielder. I think at a minimum. Oh no, sorry, and Vasquez. Because I ain't paying a center fielder $10 million a season. But what I probably will do with Vasquez is I don't want to. Vasquez presents an interesting strategic decision. And it's one I don't really have a clear sense of how to solve. Danny Moreno will be playing on next year's team. I'll give you that spoiler right now. He will have some role to play on the 2032 Baltimore Orioles. The question is that role as DH or is that role as center fielder? And if we look at his overall talents, he's working really hard to become a good center fielder. So in that light, trading Vasquez is dumb. In that light, trading Vasquez might be smart. He's struggling a tiny bit in AAA, but look, he's barely been there. And I don't want to rush him to the majors. So in that sense, keeping Vasquez is very smart. And although it will cost us a fair bit of money, you were hurt for a lot of this season, weren't you? Yeah, you missed 7 weeks after injuring your hamstring. The thing is, you're a reasonably good center fielder who hits okay, and there's value in that. And I don't really have an obvious heir apparent to you, is the other issue. I just don't. The more I see Alhumada, the more I kind of want to give him a shot at second at some point. Like, I don't like how bad he is at second, is the issue. Even he has a top possible shot to be a DH. I do have Horacha, but he's really screwing up in AAA, and he's never hit that well. So I have multiple candidates to replace these positions, but nobody besides Moreno that I will definitely say, yes, this player may very well have a role on the Orioles next season. So let's go ahead and... How bad is Santoy is pretty terrible. But Soto's more valuable to us. And I don't mind him standing around at first base every now and again. And McKenzie, I don't know. Maybe I should wait and just let Benoist go ahead and practice in the minors. I do think short term, though, we do need to find a way to get a 13th pitcher. Because... Or maybe we just have a bullpen that's frankly not very good. And if that's the case, then I also need to make that thought. Because if we take a quick look at pitching ratings, our ratings suggest our bullpen should be better than it looks right now. We've got 3 people with a 70 overall or higher, and even our worst has is a 55. And ironically, the one who's the worst here is actually the one who's pitching the best, which is Brian Mapp. If this is maybe I just need to spread the load out a little bit more among the middle relievers, then that's what I'll do. This is another place, by the way, I definitely can see us moving on from. I don't think Joe Jimenez is that good a closer anymore. Well, I mean, I don't want to make any rush decisions, but yeah, we'll figure it out, I guess. Um, is there anything else that I need to think about before we start resuming the season? Adley Rushman, I acknowledge he's hitting 236, but he's still going to have a great season even if that's all he hits, and I'm sure that this will change. He's never hit this low in a full season. And if we check out his BABIP, it's in the toilet. His career average, and he's had a long enough career that we should be able to predict it, is about 280. And I think this is going to get better. So I think we just have to be patient with him and let him keep playing, and good things will happen. Okay. So a lot of interesting decisions to make in the offseason, which is why the next episode will be pretty long. And we still have one of the best offenses in the major leagues. In fact, we have the best by runs scored. We just need a little bit better performance out of our bullpen, which may need shuffling some pieces, which is fine. How is Andy Neal doing in the minors? He's rebounding nicely, and if he can pitch an entire season in AAA, he's got a shot to get more playing time next season. Or he might just be a quadruple A pitcher. It might just be that his low control will just never allow him to be a good pitcher in the majors. He kept the ball on the ground, which was part of his job, and he was useful. Like, he ate important innings, but he was very much a back of the rotation starter. And as a fourth round pick, if that's all he is, that's all he is. Let's go ahead and sim the rest of June. Austin Hendricks is going to miss 2 weeks with a bruised a lung, which is pretty yikes. I could have Bobby Dwyer play right for now so that I can add a third pitcher. But I don't like not having a backup reliever. So I'm going to go ahead and call up the Finnish guy. Where did you go? Here he is. I'm going to call you up. I'm going to plug you in right field. Yeah. Because you can only play right. Unlike Dwyer, which means Dwyer's value is much stronger as a utility guy. And it's only going to be a couple of weeks, so that won't really move the needle one way or the other, I don't think. Onward and upward. Personal message. Very excited. He's unhappy about us not making much money. I've got a lot of decisions to make, so I will make those now. Danny Moreno is only the number 3 player in the majors. What does Handberger have? Besides a torn UCL. He is a little better at defense. Man, I wouldn't want this guy. Not over Danny. Danny is love. Danny is life. I am not paying $2.6 million to this player. You can re-enter the draft. And I know I won't get a replacement pick for it, but I'm also fine with that. Now, there was something important that just happened. Right, personnel. I'm going to go ahead and give all my minor leaguers new contracts, because you know that's how I roll. I will keep Subpoena. I will keep Romine. We might move on to a new pitching coach. Or not. I've got a lot of power pitchers. And our team ERA is actually down significantly. Maybe I need to hang on to him. Oh, I can't stay mad at you. You can come back for a couple more seasons. He gets along with Clay Fisher. And as long as he makes Clay Fisher happy, I'm happy. Herniated disc. That's not good. Where are my relievers, and are any of you lefties? Here we go. Edward Morales. Welcome to the big leagues. You may think you're going to be a starter, but you're actually going to be my lefty killer. Enjoy. The ERA is starting to come down now for some of our bullpen guys, so we'll just have to count on it. Oh, shit. 3 to 4 weeks. It's minimal time. Oh, can I put Jack Leiter on the DL? I have a bunch of starting candidates in the minors. The question is... Alright, here's what we're going to do. Nope. Damn it. He's on pace for his greatest season of all time, which is saying something. But I have to consider my long-term investment. I would rather place him on the DL and give him time to recover so that we may enjoy him for seasons to come than force him to pitch now when we're already in a pretty good position. I'm going to put you on the IR. I have to. I can't afford not to do it. And then... Here's our problem with Lonson. He's basically Andy Neal, but he's not as polished. Is the issue. I'm going to go ahead and let Andy Neal come up. But I think I'm actually going to give Sean Dozier the rotation spot. I think he's earned it. He's pitched consistently well in the minors. If anyone here deserves a rotation spot, it's going to be Dozier. And then you're going to be my new emergency starter long reliever. I think this is the right call. I think it's the best call for our team's future. And maybe... Oh my god, what is with this season? I don't know that I have another shortstop. Like, I can make Soto play short. He wouldn't be the worst, but then... Grullon is a good hitter who can't field. Ahumada can't field. Muller can field, at least. So I think as backups go, Muller is the best choice. Soto, you're not my starting shortstop. We are burning through middle infielders this season. I don't like it. No. 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 I am not taking my best outfielder and letting you do that to him. Please stop. Game, I know Muller's a really great second baseman, but I need offense, so please be quiet. And dude, I'm never going to let you hit Dwyer in front of Kieran Adongo, who is our one consistent power threat this season. Well, besides Daniel Cabrera, but that's fine. Is it time for me to fire my team trainer again? I feel like it might be time for me to fire my team trainer again. Player development. Oh boy, Andy Neal got worse at movement. That's the one thing I definitely wanted to see. Nate Gould is a little better. Griana's getting a little better at third. Your contact and speed are improving. Your power's starting to slip. Mike Everman is a very good defensive infielder. He might get some playing time before too much longer. I don't see Luis Amaya's name on here. How are you working out, my dude? You're struggling in Double-A, which is fine. I can take time to let you develop. I'm not in a big rush with you. Alright. I don't know that I'm going to be able to sign anybody, because my owner may be like, absolutely not. There's no one here worth signing. Not really. I mean, maybe Danny Fernandez. He's got at least a little bit of upside. How much do you even want? I am not paying you $5 million. Absolutely not. I categorically refuse. Alright, Austin Hendrick is back. I'm just going to immediately slot you back into the Major League lineup where you were. Without hesitation. That's that problem sorted. I know you want to come back, my dude. I can't afford it. I just can't. Oh, did I have Francisco Lindor shortlisted? Oh, must have been against me. That's why I popped up. Wow. Why is he in AAA? Oh, I can't afford that either. I won't even bother with it. Can have Herrera back. Okay, this is decision time now. I really want one more pitcher on this roster. Among my offensive players, who is the most expendable? It can't be Soto. He's my starting shortstop now. It can't be any of my middle infielders. And McKenzie is failing at his one job. I would honestly rather let Santoya try to figure out left-handed hitting. Or just have literally anybody else play first. I put Kins Muller at first. Or Jose Delgado. Or I will find a way, but McKenzie is not good. I would like you to go away now. So that I can have my reliever back. Kins Muller, I do not want you pitching. You are only to be an offensive performer / backup. So Morales, I want you to be a long reliever, and I want Martin to be my specialist for now, and that may all change. Dave Jackson, you pitched 61 innings of terrible baseball. I think the writing's on the wall for you. I'm gonna put you as used less often. And then we'll see how that turns out. Alright, on to the trading deadline. Oh, Benoist. Yeah, totally. I don't even want, what's-his-face, Morales. I will happily take Benoist. Thank you for reminding me, game. Because Benoist is actually a really good reliever, and I would love him to be a middle reliever so that we can take some of the slack off of, say, Dave Jackson. Right. Alright, Jack Leiter is back, and he is healthy. But I'm not going to carry 14 pitchers. That's a bridge too far. So back to the minors with you, Andy Neal. It's Jack Leiter time. And it's emergency starter long relief for you time. Thank you, Sean. You may be the man who saved our season. I know you weren't spectacular in your starts. If we look at your game log, you had a really nice game against Minnesota, actually. And then you had a couple of starts that weren't so exciting. But that's what you're here for. You're just here to eat some innings while I find a spot for you on the roster in the future. Ahumada hit 3 home runs against Nashville. Man, if you could just play second base at all, you could have a very big future on this team. But you can't play the position. So maybe your future's a designated hitter. I don't even know. No one wanted McKenzie. I'm gonna try to trade him one last time. And heck, for the right player, I will take just about anything. I honestly wouldn't mind a starter. Or a really, really good player of some kind. There's some good relievers to be had here. I don't know how many of them are upgrades over what I've got now, but there is... I could get a better starting shortstop, although Brandon Dieter is not that guy. I get Kevin Podlow. You wouldn't be a terrible decision. I'll file you in my maybe pile. See, I guess for me the issue is going to be that no matter who I pick, I'm going to run into the same problem, which is that I only have so many roster spots to go around. And anyone that I'm looking at here will actually take me to a new... will require a roster spot. Although Trey Cruz is not as good as he looks. Never mind on Trey Cruz. Pavin. You're a lefty. Nope. I'm really tempted by Podlow, actually. And then if I do acquire Podlow, I would need to free up a roster spot. I mean, Delgado could always play shortstop if I needed him to. Right. I can see if you throw in a prospect just out of curiosity, but I'm sure the answer to that question is going to be no. But it can't hurt to ask. Like, I know you're not going to give me one of your better prospects, but what about, say, Julio Almanza? Oh, he's bad at movement. Never mind. No, you know what? Fuck it. A guy like Almanza could actually still be useful because the rest of his skills are pretty solid. And I know he's raw, and I don't care. No, he wouldn't do that. Then I'm just going to take it straight as is. Oh, that was Mackenzie's big shtick, wasn't it? I'm a leader. I can help you. I'm sure you can, bro. I'm sure you can. I guess it's going to be Muller so that I can carry this additional first baseman and stop us from being exposed whenever Santoya has to bat against a lefty. So here's Podlow. Who's my backup second baseman now? I guess I don't have one. Because Delgado plays third and short. So I guess he's going to figure out second because I don't have a better choice. Delgado, Podlow, Delgado. Alright. Let's continue. I don't need an upgrade at third base, but thanks for offering. Nope. Nope. Senzel, I don't know if I'm going to bring you back or not. I might have to because I don't have a lot of depth at second, but I'm also not convinced you're the answer at second either. I can't give you my closer, whether I want to or not. Maybe. What would I be giving you? An okay first base prospect and an okay shortstop prospect. But here's my problem with you. You have a track record of not hitting in the majors. So you'd at best be like a backup, and I'm not going to give away a very good prospect for a backup. Micah Burns can't play short. But he can play second and third. You actually could be an extremely useful player because of your versatility. Alright, I will discuss this trade, but I ain't giving you what you're asking for. So you can instantly stop that question. What would I give you? Honestly, I'd probably give you Soto as a start. And I can throw one prospect your way. Question is, as always, which one? Where do I have an embarrassment of riches so that losing a player wouldn't hurt? I could offer you Nate Gould. Like, I mean, I know the moment I trade him, if Santoya gets hurt, I'll regret it. I could give you Mathis Lawson. But again, I'm not convinced he won't end up being an important starter for me. I frankly need to find an area where I have an interesting player that I don't think is going to make the roster. Might be this Cortez guy. Maybe. I like his bat and I like his discipline, though. So he's a potential future leadoff guy. Maybe I don't want to trade him either. Ahumada. What else would I have to throw in? You want my Finnish backup right fielder? I think I'm okay with that, actually. When does Doug Smart get back? Oh, he won't get back for a while. I can always just keep Hendrick, though, or even play Dwyer at right. I have options. And I think a player like Micah Burns is more useful to us because of his... He's a decent hitter. He plays multiple positions, all of them fairly well. I'd love to give you a different prospect, though. I'd like to get rid of maybe like some of my not exciting prospects. Man, Bob Solis could be a great hitter someday. I get a little bit hung up on certain prospects. You know, you want Chris Ward, you can have Chris Ward. That doesn't move the needle for you, does it? You don't have any good right field prospects, which is I think you want Marty so badly. How about Jim Prather? He seems like just the answer to all of your problems. I guess it is, because you just changed things a lot. What if I threw in Mike Taylor? And I'm going to see if I can get you to throw in a prospect of your own. And I know the answer is probably going to be no, but it looks like you have a glut of starting pitching prospects. So if you have one or two that seem somewhat promising, I would happily take them off your hands. Like an Izzy Montoya, for instance. Okay, you won't even take that. I'm selling out an awful lot. Don't think that that isn't lost on me. But I also know that we've desperately needed middle infield depth for a long time now. We've done a very bad job of acquiring it. How about Dante Perez? Can I get him from you? No, he wants something else. You just drafted him. Okay, you would give me Jose Zepeda, who is pretty terrible, but might someday be not terrible. How about Kevin Turnbrow? No, you know what? I'm just going to take this deal. I think that's fine. Right. This is how, kids, not spending time to develop depth for your team can bite you on the ass. Because that's definitely what's happened here. I got used to Daniel Corona Jr. being available to us and not needing to worry about it, and I didn't really spend a lot of time developing middle infield players. We'd have Victor Salinas, though. He's our ace in the hole. If he has a great season in Double A and also succeeds next season when I promote him, he's got a chance to be our starting second baseman for years to come. That is not disputable. How's Moreno doing? You know what? He has really turned it around. He struggled a bit when he first was exposed to AAA, but he's getting it done. He's got so much potential. And he's only just now 21. I would be over the moon if he would just improve his defense a little bit more. Because he has all the tools to be a great defender. I just think he needs experience. He's going to be a good one, I hope. All right, Bernal, you're not doing well. Chris Thomas, for all of his flaws, has actually produced some pretty consistent stuff. You, on the other hand, you're giving up the Gophers at an alarming rate. And you just let anyone who wants to hit you. I think the days of you starting have ended. I really do. And I've even got an option year left. So maybe I send you to the minors and call up Neil again. Because you don't even have upside in your favor. You just have, I'm okay. And I might get better someday. Now, you are a lefty, so I'm not going to get rid of you anytime soon. But it's pretty clear, based on your major league starting experience this season, that you just can't cut it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you to AAA. I'm going to tell my manager there, he's a starter, please treat him as such. And maybe if I give you some lighter innings in the minors, you can become a more useful contributor later on. And then Andy Neal, welcome back. I'm going to make you a starter. No, I'm not. I'm going to make Dozier the starter. I'm sorry, Dozier saved our asses when we really needed him. But you're next man up, Neil. For sure. Or if Dozier can't handle being a starter and flames out spectacularly, then that's also going to be your job. But I think Dozier's got a chance to be an excellent contributor. That's my hope anyway. No thank you. I don't want this guy. Is there any other position I'd like to trade at? Is there any other position I think I could improve significantly? I mean, the bottom half of my order is kind of garbage. Sorry. What is 4 of 9? It's more than a third. 40%, we'll say. It's kind of garbage. Senzel's at least hitting for power, as is Hendrick. Vasquez and Burns, not so much. The top of the lineup is killing it. Except for Rushman, still isn't hitting for contact. We're still third in the majors in batting average, which I think says a lot. Yeah, I don't think Senzel is someone I can afford to bench. Or any of these guys, really. They all play various roles of varying importance that I can't afford to really get rid of any of them. Um, I mean, right now we are being carried by our rotation and our improving bullpen. Um, so I can just hope that keeps happening. But I don't feel great about our chances for the long term until we can start developing some elite offensive talent of our own. And, your movement got worse. You certainly didn't need any help with that. Perez got a little better. Lonzon improved a bit with your control. Huaracha improved a bit. Doug Smart dipped a bit. He did get pretty seriously hurt. Dave Meyer got better. Alright. Nobody too intriguing has really made big changes one way or the other, except for maybe Alex Perez. If he can keep his movement and is an extreme ground ball pitcher and he develops, he could easily find himself on the rotation, which is good. Mike Nelson, I wanted Tom Servo. Alright, Kieran Dongo, you're the cleanup guy. I need someone I can count on, and Rushman is struggling a bit. Here we go. Are any injuries coming back that are big news? Not really. I mean, Clay Fisher's coming back, but he's been lapped. Most likely. Was he hitting well this season? He really wasn't. You're probably going to go back to AAA when you get healthy. Or maybe I'll carry you like an extra man once you've recovered fully from your rehab. Alright. I know I won't get any compensation pick, and I don't care. For the love of God, please quit injuring my middle infielders. Please stop. Okay, that's new. Let's injure relievers too, why not? Man, this whole freaking season, maybe I do need to start firing some people. How long have you pitched in AAA, Perez? You've never pitched consistently as a starter. So I'm going to leave you in AAA. There's good old Ben Frenchie here. Maybe. What role was he filling? He was just a middle reliever, so it really doesn't matter who I call up to replace him. Will it? I think you have earned some major league time. I'm going to make you a middle reliever for right now. Okay, we get Clay Fisher back. I'm going to have you rehab. Perdomo's going to be out for 4 days. Please quit injuring my players. Hendricks, I'm going to tell the AI to bench you for a game. I'm just going to say bench player for 7 days. You're going to miss a start. That's fine. I'm not doing it to punish him either. I'm doing it because I don't want you trying to pitch. I don't care as much about you. I mean, I do care about you, Jose Santoya. Okay, we can have De La Cruz back, which is great. I will send Steve Willett back to AAA. Middle relief. Dave Jackson is still pitching way too damn much. How can I get you to not pitch? Besides, like, sending you to the minors, maybe. Like, I mean, I guess you're not even keeping it down on the ground, which is what you're supposed to be good at. I need you to not. Please. I could just cut you and send you back to Minnesota. You know what, Jimenez? I don't really have a great choice other than you. What do you want to come back? A hefty raise? Absolutely not. Aw, Clay. Damn it. You're forcing my hand. I have to send you back to AAA. I need to designate you for a son. Oh, you're on the 40-man. Oh, dear. And I can't option you. I'm sorry, dude. I thought that you would recover in time. Don't worry, I'm gonna call you up instantly. Poor Clay Fisher gets 5 hits in the minors, and I instantly tell him, you're being designated for assignment. During one roster expansion happens, I'll call you back up. 3,000 hits for Nolan Arenado. Very nice for him. Vasquez is a little better at contact. That's nice. Moreno is losing a little bit. Speed and batting eye. I don't like to see that. Victor Salinas' contact is getting better. His power's dropping a bit. That's not a big deal for me. I have Eric Ponzone hanging out here in the minors. I don't like him very much, but I'm glad that he's there. I don't know what to do with you next season, my dude. Do I just hand you the keys to center field and hope you figure it out? Do I make you a designated hitter? I don't know what to do with you. Other than call you up and figure it out. But I mean, I could call him up now. Huh. Is that what I want? Do I want to start Moreno's service time clock now? In the hopes of kickstarting the Major League roster? Like, Vasquez isn't bad, but he's not great either. And I gotta see what I've got in the kid, right? Is it Moreno time? To just let him play in the majors as the starting center fielder, have Vasquez back up and see how that turns out for him. I think maybe it is. This is your audition for next season. I need to see how you can hit in the big leagues because you've dominated AAA. I mean, you've had one bad offensive year, which was your first year in rookie ball. I'm calling you up. I'm going to bring up Fisher, too. Moreno. Wait, does Vasquez have a hole in his swing? He really struggles against left-handed pitching. So let's make this a nice, easy transition for you. Oh, wait, Danny Moreno's also left-handed. And also struggles with left-handed pitching. I didn't even realize that. Oh, dear. Can I start you in center field over Vasquez when you have basically the exact same weaknesses? Wait, can I protect Vasquez by letting Bobby Dwyer? No, you're actually not that bad against lefties. I'll still check your batting stats, though. Basic stats, please. Oh, you're getting eaten alive by lefties. You're holding your own against righties. Okay, I see. Look, if I'm calling up Danny Moreno, it's to get regular playing time. Just kidding, Danny. I'm sorry. I can't call you up yet. But I did put you on the 40-man, so consider that a gift. You're welcome. And then, who else would I like to call up? Maybe Willett, so I can just have another emergency starter if I need it. That sounds good. Dave Jackson, I'm probably just going to cut you. Because you'll just end up going right back to Minnesota. Because you're awful, and I don't want you anymore. Like, nothing about you has been as promised. Although, no, I take that back. It looks like you've been victimized by FIP. I will acknowledge that as a thing. Are we really that bad defensively? Or is it just certain people are bad defensively? Okay, this is not good. This is my starting third baseman, my starting second baseman, my starting center fielder, my starting left fielder, and my shortstop are all bad at defense. Clay Fisher is, if nothing else, a good shortstop. Man, we miss Corona. Like, Santoya's great, and some of our backups are good, but most of our starting lineup is just bad defensively. Maybe Perdomo's our DH next season. Or maybe I just need to move on from him. I don't know. Like, he's still doing his job right. He's still getting on base at a very good clip. He powers the rest of the offense. Do I have someone else who can do that better, though? I don't know. What I do know is that I have a bad defense that's actually hurting my ground ballers. Like, a lot. Burns isn't hitting anyway. And I think Clay Fisher is like a fantastic shortstop. So I'm going to go ahead and start Fisher over Burns. And then Burns can be a backup. I'm not going to bench Delgado. Or I'm sorry, I'm not going to bench. Okay, Delgado's not very good at second. Micah Burns is an outstanding third baseman, but he's also a pretty good second baseman. And honestly, Senzel has been just average. But then at the same time, Senzel is also one of the best power hitters on the team. But he's so bad defensively that he's hurting the team. So here's what I'm going to do. Micah Burns, you're going to start at second. I'm going to bump up Vasquez a notch. I have to bench Senzel. There is no other option. That's fine. I'm going to let you do your thing here, benchy coach. I mean, you want Senzel to play. Which is fine, I guess. You don't like Perdomo as much as I do. I understand. Like, let's... And all of the crazy shit that's happened for us this season, let us never lose sight of how ungodly amazing Santoya's been. He's been everything we wanted in a first baseman and more. And he's probably going to be the next player to get a big contract from us. Is probably going to be Santoya. Even with his obvious flaw of not being able to hit left-handed pitching, I don't even care because he's so good at everything else. So we're going to try this look for the rest of the season because we've got a pretty decent lead in the AL East, 9 games, and I'd like to see if things get better with a better defense on the field. It's only 20 games, not a big sample size, but if we start seeing ERAs dropping, then I will have figured that part out. There you go, clinch the AL East. Getting Chris Tharp back would be kind of nice, I guess. Maybe. Like, Tharp is at least a real-life starting second baseman. Maybe. I'm sorry, dude. Look. You want $42 million. I can't pay it. I feel bad. Ooh. You have not done well the second half of the season. You've still been very good, but you were on like MVP pace before. You must be sad that you're leaving Baltimore. I'm sad that you're leaving too. But you have no one to blame but yourself because you're like, I want to get paid all of the money. Alright. Let's go to playoffs begin, and then we'll set our playoff roster. Who's retiring? That guy. Poor Steve Gifford, I guess. Let's be clear. This was not a good season. I mean, by our standards. It was still a good season in that we won more than we lost. But we were the worst division leader in the league. By far. And that is the case. There is no disputing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our playoff roster. And how does that change my lineup? It does take away Clay Fisher. Why? Why is Clay Fisher not eligible for the playoff roster? He was on the roster for a long time this season. Really? Oh, man. It's because you were horribly placed there. Ouch. Look, if that's the case, then Delgado will play shortstop. Because I do not trust for even 1/10 of a second Nick Senzel. Delgado, you're going to be the starting shortstop for the playoffs for us. Pitching-wise, it's going to be a 3-man rotation for the first round. This is fine. And honestly, Chris Thomas will probably be the 4th starter. Look how much his ERA has dropped. Look at Dave Jackson, shaved off nearly a full point. I think I've been underestimating how important defense is, and I definitely need to address that next season. Because look at this, our entire bullpen looks better. And bullpens are unusually susceptible to bad defense. So I am more than happy to go with this. And we can go ahead and pitch Jack Leiter because he should be ready by the time we're actually ready to pitch. So we're going to go until next round. My high A hitting coach is retired. Poor Mark Grace. Let's make it Quentin McCracken time. In high A Frederick. And Brant Brown, my dude, you get to go to high A Frederick. Wait, you already were in high A Frederick. What did I do? Where did Quentin McCracken go? Oh, I made him the manager. I didn't want that. I wanted you to be the hitting coach. Man, I am the worst. There we go. Let's let Carlos Garcia get promoted. You can be the new manager of High A Frederick. Sal Fasano, you can be the manager of Delmarva. And Kyle Moore, you can have short season A ball. Which is what? Aberdeen. There we go. And I guess I will hire good old Kyle Haynes to be my rookie year manager. There we go. Right. Until the next playoff round. All right. So this is going to be entirely about my pitching staff. Because if my pitching staff is as it's been in years past, I should be able to succeed. I lost my AAA manager to... right. Let me promote Kevin Cash. And then... let's hire a AA manager. A good old Lamar here. You'd be an interesting manager for a season. Right. Uh-oh. If Jack Leiter's getting lit up, which we were, this might be over before it begins. I mean, Luciano was able to keep it together, which is nice. But yeah, Brandon Hendricks got lit up too. Bad defense. Burns made an error. This is kind of a comedy of errors. Save our season, Jack Leiter. How did you pitch? You were bounced pretty early. It all comes down to seeing if Luciano can give us 2 great games in a row this postseason. And I genuinely don't know if he can or not. Closing my eyes. We made it. But our pitching staff got lit up. Like, all of my pitchers got hit hard. Maybe not hard. I mean, 5 runs on 6 base runners sounds like bad timing, not bad pitching. But we made it. Hooray. Now, when I hired Lamar Rogers, did I just hire him for the rest of the season? I did. Have an extension. It's nice work if you can get it. I mean, we can have Chris Tharp back, which is just the best news. All right. I actually don't mind Hendrick starting game one. I do mind, however, not having a fourth starter. Let's go 4-man, and let's bring in Chris Thomas. A nice victory over Texas. I appreciate that. Okay, please stop. Here, rehab. Fine, I will put you on the 40-man, and then I'll put you in AAA. Now please stop. Hey, you know what? Chris Thomas might have gotten smacked around a bit, but he did okay. He did okay. Mr. Haynes, I'd like to offer you an extension. That's how much I think of you. Uh-huh. Now that's the Jack Leiter I know and love. Texas was a really good matchup for us because, I mean, I don't want to get... Yeah, I knew we were going to get lit up when I said that. Because they're a team that relied on pitching, and we just have better pitchers than they do. Until we get knocked out because we just stop pitching. Yeah, come on, guys. Oh boy. Another 9 months. What the fuck, dude? And hey, you know what? That's just how this season was. It's not Jack Leiter's fault. But man, they didn't just beat one of my starters conclusively. They beat all 4 of them conclusively. Well, not Leiter conclusively. And this is fine, honestly. I'm actually surprised we did as well as we did in the first 3 games. It is what it is. And congratulations to the Rangers and the Cubs who are going to go to the World Series. Fuck you, dude. You are not a starter. You're a reliever. You will never be a starter. Stop talking. You're not doing anybody any favors, my dude. Why are you not doing a thing? Oh, it's just taking you a minute. I see. Okay. Now, we need to make some decisions here. Oh, someone on my staff retired. My bench coach. I'll figure it out later. Austin Hendrick. You ended up having a decent season, but here's my problem with you. I am basically getting paying $5 million a win with you. And you're trending in the wrong direction. And I have enough interesting players, or I can just grab like a 1-year rental, that I think it's time to move on from you. So I'm going to go ahead and void your last year. Daniel Corona. You're too good a shortstop for me to not bring you back. Even if, I mean, you could still opt out, but I think you'd be pretty dumb to do that. So I'm going to bring you back. Okay. Ooh, what was the end of season top? Down to number 4. Come on, Moreno. That's fine. So let's take a look now and think about how this season went and what we need to focus on for next season. let's start by looking at the offense. Jose Santoya carried us this season. To the fact we even made the playoffs is all thanks to Santoya's incredible ability to get on base, to hit for contact, and to hit for an awful lot of power. Daniel Cabrera was great. Bobby Dwyer is honestly probably deserves a starting role on next season's outfield. He was incredible in admittedly fairly limited playing time. But 300 at bats hitting almost 400 is too good to not at least give him a shot. Maybe he'll be the opening day starting fielder if we decide to move on from Vasquez. Maybe he'll start in right. Maybe he'll start at DH. You played so well in part-time that I have to give you a shot. Adley Rushman was okay. The power numbers are there. He just didn't hit for contact. He is 33. And this could just be he's starting to decline. And if he is, he is. If he's not, then I expect to see a bit of a bounce back. Do I love Perdomo too much? Maybe. He was an acceptable third baseman. He got on base. I know that's what I asked him to do. But I wonder if I'm overcompensating for letting him go earlier. He's super cheap, which is good. So I'm not worried about him so much, but let's figure something out. Kieran Dongo brought the thunder and didn't embarrass himself too badly in left field. That's what I'm looking for from him. Could he be better? Yes. Do I need more from him? Maybe. But not necessarily. Vasquez was about league average with the bat, albeit with above average power. I think he'll bounce back. I really do. Because his past experiences with the bat lead me to believe he's a better hitter than he was last season. Senzel, you were acceptable, and that was it. Podlo turned out to be useful. Delgado was fine. No one really was bad. But we didn't get the big contributions other than from Santoya. And I think that is the number one thing we need to try to replace next season. That may come from Danny Moreno. Danny Moreno may step in, look at Daniel Cabrera's season, and be like, I'm the greatest, and win all the awards. Or he might not. This is going to be a team in transition no matter what happens. We're going to be replacing, conservatively, hopefully 4 starters from this lineup. Because hopefully we have a healthy Cabrera, although maybe not. He is out for another 9 months, which would bring him back in the middle of next season. He might even retire, which would be extremely bad. We need a regular second baseman. Is that Chris Tharp? Again, I'm not sure. Probably not. We're going to get a new right fielder. We're going to get a new DH. This will not be the lineup we've had in the past. If we look at our minor league system, we have some solutions to those problems, but not all of them. Doug Smart missed most of this season. But he utterly crushed high A. He played really well in double A. I think he can replace Hendrick, and we won't lose too much out of it. So I think he definitely has a chance to make the roster. Salinas is my long-term second base solution, but he's not my right now second base solution. He needs more time in the minors to season before I call him up. Amaya is my medium to long-term center field solution, but he got utterly dominated in double A. I'm actually going to send him back. I'm going to let him play, not Ocasio, Or maybe Ocasio, too. Um, Ocasio was fine, but lost most of this year to injury, so I'm going to let him repeat. No, I'm not. I'm going to call him up to Double A. He's too good to stay in the minors for too much longer. Cullen, I don't really care about. I'm going to let the AI do with him what they will. Castillo, you only pitched 8 innings the entire season? Why? Why did you not pitch more? Why have you basically never pitched? Because the AI is putting you in the outfield. Okay. There's no reason to think you can't succeed, but I need you to actually pitch. You're already 24. I'm going to promote you to AAA. I'm going to manually tell the game to use you as a reliever. Because this dude is not going to be making the majors as an outfielder. He's okay, and I certainly will use him. But that's not how he's going to make the majors and be successful. He's going to do it by being a relief pitcher. And unfortunately, he has thrown a grand total of 10 innings. Sorry, a little over 10 innings since he's become a minor leaguer. Because my managers are apparently idiots. Don't do that, game. That's bad. That's very bad. John Rivera had... Oh my god, why does the game keep doing this? Why are you ignoring my explicit instructions to play him as a catcher? Stop using him as a two-way player. I understand there's potential, but I want him to be a catcher. It looks like he hit well enough, at least. But he's not developing the experience that I need from a potential catcher. I'm going to leave him in A-ball. Locke here had a pretty good A-ball season. I think he can handle high A. And then there's a bunch of minor league or a bunch of other players that I'm not really sold on one way or the other. Smart is going to make the major league roster. I feel pretty confident about that, as will Moreno. I just don't know what their specific relationship will be. I might even make Moreno the starting day right fielder. I haven't decided yet. I mean, he's not a great center fielder. That much is certain. He doesn't make many errors, but it looks like he's not making the plays that he should be making that you'd expect from an elite center fielder. Now, the flip side of all the things that went wrong for us offensively is that our pitching staff was amazing. We got a fantastic season out of Jack Leiter, yawn, where the only bad thing that happened was he missed a couple of starts. Luciano was a more than suitable number 2 starter on this team. Brandon Hendricks was doing really well earlier in the season. He started to slip a little bit toward the end, but was nonetheless a worthy pitcher. Chris Thomas, I think we have to call his first year in the rotation a success and hope for more success next season. Because I think the biggest reason he did poorly was because he had a bad defense behind him. As for our other pitchers, Joe Jimenez did provide quality relief, as did Mike Reese. Dave Jackson's ERA fell significantly. We had some nice improvements here. So the pitching staff is, yikes, Martin Herrera, is what's going to make us win or lose for the next 3 seasons. And that's fine. Because we're going to have to overhaul, 2/3 of the starting lineup. Here are the players who are guaranteed to have a spot in the lineup next season: Jose Santoya, Eric Carandongo, and Adley Rushman. Carandongo because he's the best power hitter on the team, Santoya because he's amazing, and Rushman because I don't have another catcher that can play as well as he can. And because I genuinely think he just had a bad season, which he's entitled to. I would be open to bringing back Hendrick at a cheaper price, but I'm not going to offer him very much. I think $10 million is too much for him. So maybe we'll talk to him in the offseason. Maybe we have to let Jose Delgado actually earn a job. Like, he's done nothing but hit, other than one season in the minors. He's a great third baseman, so maybe we let him play instead of Perdomo. Perdomo, I'm confident of inserting into the lineup. I'm not confident that he will continue to be an okay third baseman, and he really is starting to lose his ability. Perdomo might actually have to go. But the problem is I don't have internal replacements for most of these positions. That's the downside. I apparently stockpiled first baseman. I have Grulone as a down ballot DH. Horacha is an acceptable center fielder. But he crapped the bed in the majors, but he did bounce back in the minors. Tharp is okay, I guess. We have a lot of questions on this lineup, and we don't have very many answers. That is the biggest takeaway right now. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to shift into being more defensively talented and only signing players that can boost us in the infield. We've got a lot of ground ballers. And as long as the top of the lineup continues to be superb, we have a chance to make everything else work out okay. So we have a lot of questions to answer next season, and I kind of look forward to it, actually. This is a year of transition for the Baltimore Orioles. And even though we did make the ALCS, I think any objective observer would agree that this was not a great season for us. It was basically the same as last season. And if we're going to get back to winning World Series, we're going to have to make some important overhauls to the lineup. And I think that begins with Danny Moreno, but it certainly doesn't end with Danny Moreno. And on that note, I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode and enjoying the series with me. Next episode will be the off-season. And then after the off-season, I will probably make a decision about whether I want to try to cram both halves of the lineup into both halves of the season into one episode or into two. But anyway, thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.